In a quiet southern town where faith was a cornerstone of community life, the pastor and his wife were seen as pillars of purity, role models for what a godly marriage should look like. So when the pastor's wife was found unconscious in a seedy motel room, miles away from home and her Bible study group, the town was stunned. But that was only the beginning, because what the police uncovered next tore the entire town and its trust apart. Pastor Raymond Ellis and his wife, First Lady Deidre Ellis, were adored in Ridgewell, Georgia, population 7,200. He was the head of Grace Temple Church, a booming congregation of 500 people in a town where everyone knew everyone. Every Sunday, Deidre sat on the front pew, immaculately dressed, smiling, singing, and standing by her husband through every sermon. To outsiders, their life was perfect. Behind closed doors, it was anything but. On the evening of March 2nd, local Ridgewell police received a call from the front desk of Willow Pines Motel, a rundown spot known more for overnight truckers and quiet affairs than for anything holy. A housekeeper had found a woman unconscious, barely breathing, and surrounded by prescription bottles and liquor. When officers arrived, they discovered something shocking. The ID in the woman's purse read, Deidre Ellis, the same woman who had led a women's prayer retreat just a week earlier. The same woman who taught abstinence to teenage girls and hosted weekly devotionals in her living room. And now, she was clinging to life in a cheap motel room. As police began combing the room for answers, they discovered a small black leather suitcase tucked under the motel bed. Inside, a burner phone with encrypted messages, nearly $18,000 in cash, a stack of printed photographs, grainy, time-stamped, and clearly taken from a distance. Photos of her husband, Pastor Raymond, with another woman, a much younger woman, in compromising positions, at their church, in his office, at a gas station, and in the exact same motel. Detectives quickly identified the woman in the photos as Marissa Cole, a 25-year-old single mother and newly baptized church member. She had joined Grace Temple less than 6 months ago and had been attending private counseling sessions with Pastor Raymond. Church records showed he had paid her rent from the church's discretionary fund. More disturbing, Marissa had gone missing just 2 weeks before Deidre was found in the motel room. When questioned, Pastor Raymond was calm, polite, and completely denied everything. My wife has been mentally unwell. She's made up stories before. God is testing us. But Deidre's phone records told a different story. She had texted her best friend just 2 days earlier. If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident. Raymond's hiding something. Police issued a search warrant for Grace Temple Church. What they found in the pastor's private office made everything worse. Behind a bookshelf, officers discovered a hidden surveillance camera system with feeds to multiple rooms in the church, including the pastor's office, counseling room, and even the women's bathroom. Hard drives containing over 300 hours of video were confiscated. Some of those videos showed private sessions between Pastor Raymond and Marissa, but others revealed something far darker. Footage of several women at different times, crying, yelling, begging to be let out of the office. One file was titled Test of Faith, Session 4. It showed Marissa leaving the office bruised and visibly shaken. As news spread, the community was thrown into chaos. Parishioners were divided. Some refused to believe the allegations. Others began coming forward, sharing stories of inappropriate conversations with Pastor Raymond. A few admitted they had stopped attending church after feeling uncomfortable around him. One woman said, "He told me my pain was part of God's discipline and that only he could help me through it." Police confirmed that at least 4 other women had now come forward with official complaints. Still, the biggest question remained. Where was Marissa Cole? Investigators tracked financial transactions from the church's account and discovered regular payments made to a storage facility 12 miles outside of town. When they arrived, what they found was chilling. In Unit 47, they discovered Marissa's missing purse, blood-stained clothing, a notebook with her name on it, containing pages that read like a journal. "He told me if I left, he'd destroy me. The other women pretend it's not happening. I can't. Deidre tried to warn me once. She said, 'Be careful, sweetie. He's not the man you think.' After 2 days in intensive care, Deidre finally regained consciousness. What she told detectives changed the case forever. She said she had found out about Raymond's affair months ago, but every time she tried to confront him, he gaslit her or threatened her with spiritual guilt. He told me I was a Jezebel for questioning him, that my soul was in danger. Deidre claimed Raymond kept a file of compromising photos and videos of several women, collected to the hidden cameras, to control them, threaten them, or blackmail them into silence. She said Marissa had planned to go to the police, but she never made it. With mounting evidence, Pastor Raymond was arrested on charges of unlawful surveillance, sexual misconduct, obstruction of justice, aggravated assault, suspicion of homicide. As investigators continued searching for Marissa, Pastor Raymond refused to cooperate. Then, just as things seemed like they couldn't get worse, a body was found. Following a tip from an anonymous caller, police searched a wooded area behind the church. There, in a shallow grave, they found the remains of a young woman later identified as Marissa Cole. Cause of death, blunt force trauma. Next to her body was a gold crucifix necklace engraved. To Marissa, forgiven always, R.E. The initials matched, Raymond Ellis. DNA evidence later matched blood from the storage unit to her. The small town of Ridgewell would never be the same. Pastor Raymond awaits trial at the state penitentiary. His bail was denied. Deidre has since filed for divorce and entered trauma therapy. She now volunteers at a shelter for abused women. Grace Temple Church was permanently closed. The building is being repurposed into a community center in Marissa's memory. Ava, Marissa's 7-year-old daughter, was adopted by her grandmother. The church's remaining funds, over $700,000, were redirected into a victims' restitution fund for the women affected by Pastor Raymond's crimes. Narrator, somber tone. Faith can be powerful, but when it's weaponized by someone trusted, it becomes dangerous. Pastor Raymond hid behind the pulpit, behind scripture, behind the smiles of Sunday service. But truth has a way of rising, and when it didn't just uncover lies. It uncovered the broken souls of women who trusted a man in God's clothing. Now they begin the long road to healing. Some secrets hide in darkness. Others hide in daylight, wearing a collar and holding a Bible